Five Illinois lawmakers are considering a bill that would protect child social media influencers from exploitation. The bill would be the first of its kind in the country, and WGN's Alyssa Donovan takes a look at what's in that bill. Alyssa?
Yeah, Ray, the bill is focused on the child labor aspect of social media influencers. If passed, it would allow children under the age of 16 to keep a portion of their earnings generated from online content that they appear in. The idea behind the legislation came from a concerned teen in central Illinois.
I started getting into the idea of child influencers when I was like 13 years old during the pandemic.
Shreya Nalamathu was spending a lot of time online and noticed more and more child influencers popping up in her feed. The team became concerned about the abuse and exploitation that may be going on behind the scenes of some of these child influencer families.
So I kind of wanted to take it upon myself to introduce some legislation and bring this issue to the attention of lawmakers.
The high school sophomore, who is now 15, sent emails to state leaders in the hopes they would want to take action.
She was really concerned about the fact that this could be, abusive to children if it's not done properly. And much like, back when child actors first entered the scene.
Nalamathu spoke with lawmakers about her concerns, and they worked on legislation. The bill passed through the Senate in March and is set to be considered by the House this week. It's modeled after Coogan's Law, which helps protect child actors from losing their revenue to family members. If passed, the bill would require influencers to pay children featured in their content a portion of their earnings. This law would apply to content that generates at least 10 cents per view and covers any online platforms.
It says that if a child is going to be in more than 30% of a video and it's going to be monetized, in other words, the family gets money from the activities of the child, then you have to take at least 15% of that and set it aside in a trust fund for the child, all the way up to 100%. If a child's in 100% of the videos, then 50% of that money has to go into a trust fund.
The legislation applies to kids 16 and under. When the child turns 18, it would give them the right to legal action if the money was not set aside. Nalamathu says she's grateful her voice was heard and that real change may happen.
I feel very humbled and excited.
It's one of those issues whose time has come, and we need to address it and have the law catch up with what the reality is.
The bill needs final approval from both chambers before the end of the legislative session on Friday. It will then go to the governor's office to be signed. Lawmakers sponsoring the bill say it's about time this type of legislation was brought forward, and they are very hopeful that some other states will follow with similar laws in the future.
All right, Alyssa, thank you.